Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Techstroverts, the podcast exploring the how behind the who of people working in tech. My name is Martina Simon and I am your host. This podcast covers anything but the job. We introduce the guest, move on to the buzz wheel, a letter number randomizer that determines the questions I'll ask, and we close with sage advice about careers in the industry. Plug in. We're recording. Ellen, over to you.
Hi, Martina. My name is Ellen Mackessy. I'm Digital Marketing Manager for medium to large advertisers in EMEA. I focus on digital marketing campaigns and projects that cover messaging, automation, and account-based marketing for Meta.
Wonderful. So eloquently put. I feel like, you're well rehearsed on your intro. Thanks, Ellen. Amazing. So the format of this podcast is typically the same. The audience are aware of the buzz wheel. This is a letter number randomizer. So the way that it works is I have letters between A and Z and numbers between 1 and 20, where the letter determines the question format and the number determines the question topic. Ellen, give me the first letter and number combination.
A1.
So the question here is, are you a sibling?
Yes, I have two older brothers.
You're the baby of the family. Tell me about the dynamic.
It's interesting growing up with brothers, then having close girl relationships when you're older. I have really close girl friends, but I've always wondered what it would be like to have that sister relationship.
Yeah, completely. So I completely relate. And also, I have great guy friends because that natural sort of bond with a boy sibling has always been there. So I love it for that. I used to dress my little brother up, and he's 30 now, as a girl when we were younger because I badly wanted a sister. And I'm sure he'd resent me saying this. Are your brothers based in Dublin also, or are they scattered around the world now as adults?
Well, actually, one of my brothers is living just outside Stuttgart in Germany. He fell in love with a German girl when he was traveling.
Oh.
And then my other brother is just outside Dingle, down in County Kerry in Ireland.
Oh, wow.
He was living in Cork City, so it's a little bit more remote, but that's the beauty of remote working. He can do his job from there now as well. He'll have to travel a little bit extra, but the lifestyle that his kids will be able to be brought up with by the sea, that lovely community, the pros outweighed the cons for him.
Absolutely. With technology, nobody's ever really that far away. I feel like we're all just a buzz away, aren't we? A Zoom call away. How close are you all still as adults?
We're actually probably closer now. And I think we would always have each other's back. So I'm lucky in that respect. I tried to get them to come to a Wim Hof session with me early next year.
The ice baths. Oh my God, Ellen, that is a segue we need to dig into. So Wim Hof, for those listening who maybe don't know, jumping in really cold ice baths is meant to be really, really good for you health-wise, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it's meant to be good for your physical health and your mental health, like really good for dealing with stress. And I was trying to pick something that we could get together that the three of us could just do as siblings. And selfishly, I wanted to do. And then I was thinking, wouldn't this be great if the three of us met in Berlin and did this course? It's like just one day. It's super simple. We could still see a bit of Berlin then in the evening and then come away hopefully with something good that we could take. I'm kind of funny like that. I get into these, like at the beginning of the year, I was all about meditation, going to a little Buddhist temple that just opened near me here in Temple Oak. But then this is now the latest thing that I've been trying to, drag people on.
I love this. I mean, there's a podcast within itself in this chat, but let's navigate on because I feel like there's going to be so many gems that come out in this chat. This is awesome. I'd love another letter and number combination.
D2.
Okay. 2 brings the topic of travel. And the question for D2 is, did you take a train to work this morning? And when you do travel in, what's the route?
I cycle to work, actually.
Ooh,
so, I have my little city bike with a basket on it that is super heavy.
Oh, that's brilliant. And are you an e-bike culture nerd, or is this a traditional bicycle?
It's like more of a hybrid bicycle. It's one of those ones that's more style over function, to be totally honest. It's super clunky. I love it. And I have a pretty straight route down the canal.
Beautiful. In London, I don't know if it's the same in Ireland, but there's not a lot of respect sometimes for cyclists from motorists, and it's this sort of a little bit like it's on the edge. It sounds like you have a straight, nice and easy route in Ireland, but any stories you can share that are a bit hairy at all? Or
I cycle down into Terranure along the canal, which is pretty straightforward. I think if you go later in the morning, there's going to be a bit of congestion there, but that's to be expected. I think you just have to have a little bit of nerves, nerves of steel. Can't be afraid. If you're turning right, you need to make the turn. I think any hesitation, it gets a bit messy.
Oh my God. I mean, hopefully not, but there's been no issues for yourself then.
No, thankfully, being the city bike, it's like super clunky and it's totally fine for me getting to work. But I signed up to this thing called the Dingle Adventure Race, and it's for beginners. So it's like a little run, a kayak and a cycle. But I hadn't done anything kind of like that in a while. So I was like, okay, I'll sign up for this. This would be good motivation. And I had thought I'd rented the perfect bike down in Dingle waiting for me. Got a call the day before and he was like, you do know you rented that for today? And I was like, oh no, it's for tomorrow. And I was like, okay, can I take it tomorrow? And he was like, oh no, I'm sorry. It's actually, we're fully booked because of the Dingle Adventure Race. So I was like, okay, well, that is not my proudest moment. So, okay, I had to put my clunky little bike in the boot of the car, bring it down, and I cycled the race in my bike with the basket, and the looks, oh my God, every
the
time
judgment from
and then all of the stewards were just like, it was kind of like extra claps, they were really like trying to encourage me. They were like,
please tell me there's footage or imagery from that we can see.
Oh my God, I will actually send you a photo for a laugh. Yeah.
Brilliant. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to that. Ellen, okay, to bring us home, could you give us another letter and number, please?
N3.
The topic for number 3 is sounds. And the question under N here is, was the last song you listened to safe for work or not safe for work?
Oh, safe for work.
What kind of music?
Nina Simone is my kind of really adore her music.
Beautiful choices there. Love that.
Like a mix album, like Late Night Tales from Bonobo, or things like that. So it's kind of, it doesn't like a nice
eclectic taste there.
Yeah, there really is. Yeah, so it could range, but I am woeful at telling you the detail, if that makes sense. Like, I know the
lyrics, the melody, and when the hook comes in, but to do karaoke, you'd need the lyrics up on the screen there.
Oh, I'd plummet, yes. And the only karaoke song I could probably do is like do 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 do.
Are you get up on stage after a couple of tequilas?
I've actually never done it. I wouldn't have the confidence for it. But then I'm like, maybe as I'm like a bit older now and I don't care as much, maybe I should just do something like that for a laugh, because public speaking and all that, like, it's not my strong point for sure. Like, there's people that are just like, you would be very polished and it seems very effortless when you speak. So like, I wouldn't be like that.
The career path you're in, it's very show and learn. So I'm interested when you say that about presenting then. Are you quite confident there? Because your job is teaching back and showing the learnings. So have you picked up some skills or confidence in the professional realm?
When I've really dive into a project, like it could be building a chatbot, looking at the messaging strategy or an automation project, I think I'm so involved in it that when I present it, I like to keep the presentation light and leave it open to more questions, because that's where I'm most comfortable. And less so in my presentation skills. Also, I have to be very honest, because of, being working from home for the last couple of years, there is a luxury of presenting on screen that, no one has to see my right leg twitching underneath the desk. You know what I mean? There's definitely
you gulp in water before it's your turn to speak. Completely.
Totally. So I get away with a lot of that.
Yeah, that's a great point. There's a lot of skills we may have unknowingly developed in the work from home culture that we maybe didn't have before, because like instead of having to public speak in front of a whole room full of people in a boardroom, you're doing it from the comfort of your desk chair at home, and maybe that helps instill confidence and stuff like that. So that's a great point.
But the challenge with that now is we're going back into the office environment. So this right leg is, can't be just moving on its own.
Ellen. No, because now you've had 2-3 years almost of doing it, so now you just picture everyone naked in the room and present as though we're all human, is the advice that a lot of people who go on stage often give, which is weird, but I get it. Ellen, this has been a fantastic chat. I feel like you've given so much, and I know a lot more about you, which is lovely and it's fun. So thank you for sharing. In this section of the podcast, I love to hand the mic over to the guests and ask them to give some sage advice. And just for anybody listening to this, in whatever job they're in, whatever stage of life they're in their professional career. If there's any advice that you've been given as you were at the beginning of yours, or even more recently in becoming a better version of yourself, either professionally or personally, I'd love for you to share that advice back to the listeners.
I have a couple of little small things that spring to mind. I remember my dad saying years ago, I was a bit frustrated with a colleague. And I remember him saying, don't forget, they're just people too, you have to be kind. And that really stuck with me. And I know it sounds so basic,
I love
right?
that. Yeah.
But so every time I go in and I meet people, I feel like I can connect with people a bit quicker because I really genuinely come from a place of empathy. So I think that's one thing, no matter what career you're in, if you come at people like a human level, you'll get a lot further, a lot quicker, you'll have better relationships. I think from a digital marketing, like more role specific, it's so broad, right? It could be an ad campaign, it could be, personalized marketing, data, like there's so much in that. And I think being open to all fascinating areas, I just think you have to be open to just like your fingers in all the pies.
Thank you for sharing that, Ellen. That's a lovely way to end this. And thank you for having this conversation with me. I've truly enjoyed it.
Thank you so much as well. It's been a real pleasure.
Likewise. All right, well, we'll leave it there.
Cheers. Thanks, Martina.